Welcome, Sumeet. So good to see you again. It's been a few years. Gosh, you've had some big changes. I know you've gone from Intel Capital to starting your own fund, and I guess that must be challenging.
Yep, I think fund entrepreneurs are entrepreneurs as well. And prior to the investing side, I was an entrepreneur for a long time and did a number of startup companies. So I think in many ways, starting a fund is as hard as starting a company and has ups and downs and challenges and pivots and all of that in between. So, had a lot of successes raising a fund and challenges as well. And so I expect that as the journey continues, there'll be meanders and pivots, just as you would expect from any regular startup company.
I've got a few friends at the moment who have been raising funds, and it's just like they seem to be stressed all the time. Can't speak, can't come out, So
yeah, it's. I think what's interesting is, in the venture world, we are very much know everyone's public about who they are and what they do, and the fund fundraising world, that's not the case, right? It's not as though the people you go to capital have websites and Twitter feeds and portfolios. It's all a very, it's a different world, much quieter, much more secretive in many ways.
Yeah. Well, congratulations. I was so pleased to see that, you had founded the fund. And so tell me what the secret sauce is for you if an entrepreneur wants to get you to invest. Is it domain? Is it particular pieces that you look for that engage you?
Yeah, I think there's a couple things. So one is that it's hard to put into words, but I think you feel it when you see it, which is that they're a force of nature. And what I mean by that is that they and the team around them, anyone they touch jumps on board in some way, shape, or form. That it's there's sort of this gravitational pull that you see in everything that they're doing and touching, so that the team build becomes this force that becomes powerful. The product or service they're building becomes this force that becomes powerful. So it's that hard to describe, but when you see it, when you see this sort of this force that starts to move and kind of create its own force of gravity, and that's in many ways a function of there's always two things that matter, right? It's the surfing analogy. You can be a great surfer with a really bad wave, and you're not going to surf. You can have a really great wave and be a bad. You can have a really great wave but be a bad surfer. You're also not going to surf, right? So this wave notion is. The market dynamics have to be right, and you have to be really good at executing. When those two things happen together, you have this force effect that I think is what becomes important, what you look for.
And are there particular domains that you're focused on?
Yes, I would say focused in all of the areas of sales, marketing, digital media. In many ways, the intersection of technology, media, sales and marketing, and how all those have come together. So there's some $1 trillion of marketing spend, most of which is going digital, and that's requiring an enormous new technology stack. All the traditional forms of media that we look at are becoming digital, and the convergence of all those things have created enormous opportunities with data flowing one way and intelligence flowing the other way, and so it encapsulates a lot. In some ways we think of it as marketing technologies, in some ways we think of it as much, much bigger than that. But those are the areas that we think about, all the software that CMOs buy, which today is more than the CIO, all of the media that consumers consume, and everything that connects the two.
I like that you like media because, as you know, we're really media focused, and there's not a lot of VCs that are really interested in media, correct?
Yeah, I mean there are many are attached to other strategic outfits,
okay.
Comcast, Hearst, etc. I think many, including us, tend to be more focused on less the content producers and more the infrastructure, the pipes, the ways they monetize, the way they distribute. At Intel Capital, we did a number of things around video monetization. So a lot of things in that area that all touch media. And that's all being, as you know, being in media yourselves, it's all being changed very quickly.
Very quickly.
Yeah.
So you were telling me that you have a great story. I usually ask investors, do they have a story about being an investor that's a bit unusual around
So I'll riff a little on the earlier
Yes,
story, which is maybe it's the unexpected.
Yes.
In this case, early stage seed portfolio companies. And one of the things you realize sometimes is that some early stage companies don't have everything set up correctly in terms of how they're supposed to be incorporated and who controls what.
Yeah.
In this case, we got a call from one of the employees that the CEO of the company was in jail in another country.
Oh, no.
And misunderstanding or not, the problem was the CEO was the only person that had access to the accounts of the company, and the only person that could release payroll, etc. So de facto, arbitrarily, despite everything you do, and there was a formal board of directors in place,
Right.
basically the company had to be shut down and restarted with a
Totally
brand new
hamstrung.
team because you're completely hamstrung at the control of one person, who largely this was misunderstanding.
Yeah.
So, but nonetheless, for the period of 3 to 4 weeks where this person was being not allowed to leave this country, nothing could happen at the startup. So my learning, and everyone's learning, should be that, no one person at any company, no matter what size, should have full control, because you never know, right? The old thing we all learned of what happens if someone's hit by a bus. Well, you don't have to be hit by a bus. You can just have an honest misunderstanding with somebody, and that can massively.
And can I ask, did the CEO come back and was everything okay?
Everything was okay. Came back, still in the ecosystem, but yes.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Stress, hey, for everyone.
Totally interesting. Yep.
So, well, thank you very much, Sumeet. I'm really looking forward to the conversation tonight. I think it'll be really interesting.
Absolutely. Thank you. Take care.